Spawning up in the top left-hand position in map number 2 of this best of 3, we have the red Zerg player representing Axiom. It is Impact. And his opponent in the top right representing Checks, it's Joker. This should be an awesome ZvZ. Frost is going to be the host of the map, and therefore, it's a 4-player spawn position map. Jex is going to get the early advantage in scouting where his opponent is first, if it is the Overlords that indeed do the duty. Impact going down to the south. Now, Impact has extractor tricked it, that's why he's got to 11 out of 10 supply, whereas Joker just went for the more standard Overlord on 9. Not too much difference between the two. Doesn't matter hugely, but still something that's always cool to take a look at. There are minor benefits to each, which you can read a lot about online if you are particularly interested. So for the moment, neither player going for anything too greedy, no early pulls, no aggressive play for the moment. At least Joker's going to be going for a hatch first, and it seems that, yep, Impact agrees. Big 4-player map, going for hatcheries first is definitely a good decision. It's highly unlikely that on such a large map your opponent would be going for, say, an 8 pool or something. It can be done, but it's a big risk, and a lot of it comes down to how quickly you can scout your opponent. But even if you do scout it, the rush distance is still huge, and there's plenty of time to try and defend against it. Spawning pool now comes down for Impact, whereas for Joker, he instead opts for the gas interpool. For Impact, it means that he's going to have a Queen out sooner, the ability to get Zerglings out sooner, whereas Joker will have Zergling speed quicker, as well as the option to get into Banelings and further tech. So that's quite nice if he does have something planned with it. Whereas Impact, with only Slowlings for actually what's turning out to be quite a while longer since he hasn't yet started a gas of his own, has to be a little bit more defensive and a tad more careful. No sign of an Overlord coming through yet. Joker doesn't know where his opponent is, whereas Impact is not yet scouted. And I also don't think he's seen this Overlord. It looks like, actually, Joker managed to put it back in time before Building would have been able to spot it, which is always a good move to make. For those of you who don't know, an Overlord has a 1 greater vision range than a Building. So if you're flying over to your opponent's base and you don't want to sacrifice it into scout, then you can just come straight over and get a good little look. Impact is, though, taking this Overlord up to the top right, keeping a close little eye on everything that's going on. I think he's deduced where his opponent is, maybe actually bumping into an Overlord somewhere. There we go, he has now bumped into an Overlord. Joker, though, he's busy just getting down Zergling speed. It's worth noting that Impact still doesn't have a gas, he's going gasless, which means that he needs to get out 4 queens in order to defend a bit safer. Joker also adding in his Baneling nest now. 2 lings, though, from Impact are going to get in. They're going to get a lot of information about what's happening. They see the Baneling nest down at the front. They see the gas is still being mined, and that the spawning pool is already shimmering. So Impact is now completely in the know that his opponent is going a lot more tech-heavy than he is, and his gasless opening is slightly vulnerable at the moment. It's why we're seeing a Spine Crawler come down, in case there's a lot of pressure coming through anytime soon. We're now up to 4 queens for Impact. He's also moving out with these queens just to try and find this. Joker's lone speedling that's... oh, lone Zergling for the moment anyway, that's hiding in the corner of the main base. Not going to be able to find it though, so Joker gets a little win there that he's got further scouting available. Now, Impact goes up to all 4 gases. He needs to catch up gas-wise, so he's got to commit heavily to it. Meanwhile, Joker's still on just the 1 gas, but he's got a decent number of lings out on the field at 9, and he's also just started up a 3rd hatchery. That 3rd hatch is going to give him a great amount of income if he's able to secure it. Of course, Joker has to be careful though, because if Impact scouts it, which he has done, that's a big target. The 4 gases as well can lead into a very fast Mutalisk style play. Can also lead to a lot of roaches quickly. Pretty much pure roach is very common on the Korean ladder at the moment in terms of a ZvZ strategy. Evolution Chamber also coming down from Joker now. He's adding in a 2nd Evo and also a roach run of his own, plus those additional gases. Impact's Roach run is now nearly finished, about half done. His double Evo chamber also complete, so we can look at starting to grab down his upgrades. Probably going to pump out a lot of roaches. His lair's coming down too. The double upgrades are always going to be very important. There we go, +1 missile attack and armor coming through now. So this is going to be a roach heavy style from Impact, probably leading into a Roach Hydra style composition, or maybe a Roach Infestor style composition later on in this game. A couple of Lings though, for Joker, have managed to make their way into Impact's main base. Drones could be a little bit vulnerable here, especially if they're caught off guard like that. No drones yet going down, one barely surviving through literally the grace of something. And well, no workers have yet been killed, and that isn't ideal. 2 Banelings though, morphing in the corner of the base. I'm not sure that Impact has seen this, and if these Banelings do get into the mineral line, 2 Banelings is enough to kill off drones. A Queen waiting, but this is going to be a good detonation. Boom, they go, big hit! 10 drones get taken down, and with that, straight away, we've got Joker getting himself back level pegging in the worker count. Joker's also got his 3rd base up as well, and that's important, because by having that 3rd up, he's already got better production, and now better income too. Impact needs to be very careful. Impact has scouted though, with his Overseer. He's ahead in upgrades by a good chunk, especially on that +1 carapace. He's about 80 seconds in front. Big lead. And he's going to be looking just to kind of use those upgrade advantages to mean that he can pump a few more drones now. He already is doing so, up to 53 drones compared to 44 again. Both players though committing heavily to their roaches. A lot more Lings are being added in by Joker, whereas Impact is happy just to pump nothing but roaches. Both players +1, pretty much identical, but it's the armor that's the big difference. Finishing up now for Impact, whereas for Joker, he's still, well, he's only just coming up to halfway complete, so that's a big lead, especially if we see 2-2 instantly started, and we do. That's always a nice trick to do. Get these upgrades going for roaches fast, and the trades magically start to seem going a lot better in your favour. A couple of Lings also coming through. Roach speed is nearly done for both players, slightly ahead for Impact, but albeit by 6 seconds, so not going to make a difference to the engagements. If roach speed was done a lot sooner for one of the players, specifically the defending player, they can chase down their opponent's roaches and maybe get off a couple of free kills. But in comes Joker now. First couple of shots go out for Impact. He's trading quite well. Remember, he's got the upgrade lead here. He seems to have more roaches too. He's sitting up at 24 to 16 roaches, and a retreat is essential now from Joker. Gotta make so sure that he doesn't take too much damage here. Impact chasing him down though. Gonna get that one additional roach, and then pulls back. He knows he's done some nice damage. He's got a lot more roaches coming through, and he's taken a pretty big army supply lead. About 21. So 21 army supply in roaches isn't the biggest difference in the world, but it's still a fair few, especially when we factor in the upgrade lead. 2-2 is on its way out for Joker, but because of the delay in the +1 carapace, +2 carapace is also delayed. 2-2 still about 70 seconds away from completion for Impact, whereas Joker, he's a long way off in his +2 carapace. He's about 160 seconds away. So that is a long time in game, nearly 3 minutes. Impact adding in Tunneling Claws though, and I really like this. Meanwhile, Joker doesn't have any sign of Tunneling Claws, but we do see is a Hydra Den. So Hydralisks have a really high DPS output, but they're a bit of a glass cannon, and if they don't get into a good position where they're shielded by other ground units, they can get taken out fast. Nice use of contamination here by Impact, delaying lava production from this hatchery and also those injects, something which is a really good trick which not too many Zerg players opt to do, so nice control there by Impact. Zergling run by, preparing to try and sneak its way in. Few roaches though identified, however, the 4th base is going to get delayed as the drone gets taken out. The natural now going to be the target, but instantly a Queen comes on over. Those Lings going to meet a acidic fate, but still, delaying that 4th base by a couple of seconds is nothing to be ashamed about. Joker adding in a lot more roaches. Hydra Den now done too, so he can start adding in some more Hydralisks. He's going to be getting a macro hatchery up. And remember, Hydras were buffed in the most recent patch to have a slightly higher attack speed, which means they deal slightly more DPS than before, making them even more potent potentially. Macro Hatch is already up for impact, so he does have that advantage running for him. He's also got his 4th base coming through, which isn't yet being secured by Joker. Joker did though have the earlier 3rd. Drone count slightly in Impact's favour, he's at 65 to 52. But roaches now coming across the map, there's a lot of them. Impact is also getting out the Pathogen Glands upgrade for Infestors, and has a couple of sneaky burrowed roaches heading in towards the natural base. Up they go, heading straight now towards the main and the natural, nothing to defend, and the assault into the 3rd base probably going to continue shortly afterwards. The roaches waiting until they're all in position. The surprise attack, the most important part of this. 4th base did get cancelled, as it was taken out by some roaches there. Still, Impact waits. He's preparing, getting everything in position, ready to flank this main. Got some units behind. Out now comes the roaches at the natural, at the main. Drones getting taken down. Emergency response from Joker. But now he sees the main army coming in towards that 3rd base. But he pulls back all of his roaches. Going to be able to force that away. But in comes the rest of the army now from Impact to cut off this retreat. Both players have the 2-2 upgrade, so that's level. Is it going to be enough though? Big engagement coming down. Much better attack arc for Impact initially, which means that he trades exceptionally well. But with more units coming from the south, the better attack arc now goes to Joker, and Joker is able to force back Impact for the moment. Unfortunately though, he has lost incredibly large numbers of drones. He's lost in total now 19, taking the 32 to the 66 of Impact. He lost his 4th base, whereas Impact does have his up and is taking that 7th and 8th gas geyser. 1 roach still burrowed up there, ready to come and harass later, if needed. Burrow being used so effectively. Also 10 Infestors coming out now for Impact. Joker has gonna have a bit of a tough time in order to defend this, especially if these burrowed roaches keep being just so deadly up against this drone count. Forward though, Joker goes. He's ready to try and get a bit more harassment through. Going to be pushing straight through the middle, but a beautiful fungal growth catches a lot of the roaches. Chain fungals can now go down. With 10 Infestors, that is a lot of fungal growths if needed. More pushes though, the 3rd hatch now is taking a lot of damage, but the engagement is getting even more damage. Impact may not have the best attack arc, but what he does have are those fungal growths. That's really helping him at the moment. More fungals keep going down. He's a bit low on the roach numbers in this main engagement because of the harassment he's doing behind this. But if he holds, he's pretty much won the game, as Joker doesn't have hardly any drones remaining. His 3rd hatchery has fallen. And there we go. GG, well played. Axiom take a 2-0 lead in this series. And that means that they have won. But game number 3 is still going to get played. So we'll see how that goes. Stay tuned.